All right. So, what questions do you guys have? What is it that you don't understand?
You need to give us an introduction into this shit. You cannot just come to us like that.
Amsterdam International Radio.
No, so basically, when did this actually start? I'm trying to remember when we had this conversation. I mean, obviously, there was the previous podcast where you talked about Kendrick Lamar and what he did with To Pimp a Butterfly, particularly the song "All Right," and then
That was a podcast about religion, right?
Yeah. And then I explained that I think that the song "Trap Niggas" by Future was actually a much better statement on a similar topic. But before that, we were also talking about I don't remember what it was. But we were talking about, I think, just rap in general, and I was explaining that people don't. In general, when something is trap or something is gangster rap or something like that, the combination of people, it's like a psychological thing. People associate the sound of music with a certain type of person, a certain type of environment.
Yeah.
And therefore, they disassociate themselves from what the people are actually saying. So a lot of times, and Future is the best example of that. He's not the only one. There's other people who have this too, but Future is the best example because even people that love his music, you have fans that love his music that don't realize that actually he's saying a lot of insightful things in his music, and they just it's like fun and they turn up to it, but they don't catch what's actually behind it.
Isn't there, when that happens? Don't you think there's something wrong with the package?
No, I don't actually.
Like the whole present, everything he brings, like the beats, the lyrics, the flows, the album covers, the track listing, everything needs to give the listener the right mindset. And if the listener is not in the mindset of understanding that shit, but more about partying and doing drugs on those music, maybe there's something wrong in the way he packages it.
In essence, Future's music is party music. Okay, it's party music. It's music that you hear in the clubs. The
melodies and everything are made to party onto.
Escrow this very well. Okay,
not all of them. See, this and that's what I'm saying. Like this is just an example of the fact that you're thinking of particular songs, but he has a lot of.
Because he has a
lot of songs that are a lot more than that. But I don't think that just because something's party music, you can dismiss the fact that it has something.
No, we're not saying dismiss it, but
just look at it. No, just look at its whole catalog, right? Look at its whole catalog. Future has over, I don't know, his discography. How many albums has he dropped in this brief?
Then he could just drop a mixtape like he's spilling water or something.
No. But he's been doing this obviously. But people have noticed him or have seen him as a credible artist for, I think, 5 years right now.
Something about that.
Yeah. And in that period, how many bodies of work has he?
A lot.
A lot, right?
Of course.
And for that short period of time, he has only shown a certain side.
That's not true. I'm looking. Well, hold on. Just give me a sec. Do we have?
I have a list of all the albums and mixtape he's done. Like 2012, he did Pluto. 2014, Honest. 2015, DS2. These are the albums only. 2016, Evil. And in 2072, Future and Hendrix. Then he has mixtapes. In 2014, he did Monster mixtape. In 2015, Beast Mode mixtape. 2015, again, 56 Nights.
That one's important.
And then in 2015 with Drake, What a Time to Be Alive. And 2016, Purple Rain. Like, this dude dropped 3 mixtapes in 2015 and 1 album in 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, he's
consistently feeding his audience.
He doesn't take time. Like, I think the whole package, him as an artist, he's wonderfully talented, but he doesn't take time in crafting.
He doesn't need to take time, and that's also not true.
His style, the beat, the instrumentals, the synergy between that and the meaning that the lyrics has is just way too weak. It takes away from his lyrics in a way.
I can't find what I'm trying to find online right now. But okay, so I've heard you.
Because it's probably not.
What I'm saying is,
maybe I'm just trying to find the lyrics.
It's probably not there.
The lyrics to his songs are online.
No. The thing you're trying to find is probably not there.
Which is the lyrics to his song.
But Donkey, you're back one time. You're trying to give it a shot again, huh?
No, it's fine. So I've heard you. Let me explain. First of all, Okay, so to talk about the packaging, the first thing you mentioned.
Yeah.
What you have to say about Future is he has the reason he's so successful, because he is successful, whether
Yeah,
you
he
like
is.
it or not,
Yeah.
is because he has two kinds of fans and he balances them very well. And it's exactly what Drake is like. Drake has the same thing. He has people that just listen to Hotline Bling and say, oh, it's party and it's fun. And then he has people that really understand what he's doing. Future also has those people. And a very powerful example of this for me was actually when Meek Mill did an interview with Angie Martinez. And we can put that interview in the podcast. We'll do that later. But Meek Mill did an interview with Angie Martinez. I think this was right around the time he had done that.
I remember that
the
interview.
album. You remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. And she was talking about music, what kind of people he listens to, and he just said, I listen to Future. I think he also said, I listen to my own music. He said, I listen to Future. And she was like, just Future? He's like, yeah, I just listen to Future. And then she was like, well, that's strange. I think you would listen to other people and other people's music. He's like, yeah, but, you know, people like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole are great artists, but they don't make music for me. Future makes music for me. And that's
Explain that distinction then. Like, what is the music? Who does Kendrick and J. Cole and those people make music for? And who do Future, maybe Migos and other artists like that make music for?
people like Meek Mill.
Yeah, but
Those
what
type of
what is
person.
that kind
Who
of
are people like
what is that
Meek
kind of
Mill?
person like?
Can you define those?
Yeah,
people?
because I understand your thesis, but I don't know if other people would understand it. So, like, explain.
I think
try to.
I think it's just for people that come from a background that's very different from what a Kendrick Lamar or a J. Cole, or a mentality that's very different from what a Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole come
But
from.
aren't those the same?
Yeah, but they come
people?
from the same
No,
place,
no.
right?
I think what Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole do is more like, even though they might have some background, they place themselves in their art on the outside looking in. And what Future does is he talks about himself in the environment in a very honest and like he's just telling you. It's unfiltered. You see what I'm
But
saying?
isn't it
I get
unrealistic
what you're
though?
getting
But is
at,
it unrealistic because and unfair because he's actually outside looking in,
Yeah.
but he's pretending
How is
to
he-
be
no,
inside
he's not. How is he outside looking in?
because he's attained a certain level of
That
success.
doesn't take. But that doesn't. And
money
he talks
and
about that too.
everything,
And he
right?
talks about those.
But
things too.
those the
But that's
Kendrick
boastful.
Kendrick and J.
That's-
Cole and all these other people are also still in the culture there. They're still in the hoods,
But it's
walking
about,
around.
but it's about the music that they make, huh? It's not about them. It's about the music that's made.
You mean the
And if you
perspective
look
they
at,
take in their songs are
and this is why
different.
I'm trying to find the lyrics. Because if you look at what
Song? Of what song?
Do Blood on the Money. That's the one I like.
Okay, continue talking.
That's a good example.
We'll cut
Because-
a little bit.
Because the reason why I'm actually, I keep on hammering the fact that Future isn't as lyrical as you say he is.
No, I didn't say lyrical.
Okay,
It's not about lyrical. It's about substance.
substance, yeah.
It's about substance. But you see, what I'm saying is that he uses a language that speaks to certain people, right? And he doesn't translate. He doesn't translate the language from where it comes, from where this music comes from. That's why it's also the sound is also that way. That's why it's trap and it's a hard 808s, because that's the sound of the environment that Atlanta sound where he's from, and
Because
that's
it's-
what he uses. He uses the same language and the same music style. He doesn't try and make it more, you know.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's why people like me will can be like, oh, that's music. Like, I understand that when he says it in that way. When Kendrick Lamar says it, it's like, yeah, you're saying the same thing, but you're not saying it in the way that speaks to me. Do you see what I'm saying now?
I think I get the distinction you made between Kendrick and J. Cole from looking from the outside in and Future basically looking from the inside out. And that is maybe the best way to describe how these people are different, how their music is different. Because if you are in the inside, you're still about that drug money. You're still about the parties. You're still about going to the strip clubs and all that kind of stuff. So your music is also tailored to that kind of stuff. When you're from the outside looking in, like a Kendrick, like a J. Cole, like Logic, or any of these other rappers, you are mostly trying to teach people from far away what is going on there. So you need to
And
package it
that's
different.
the key thing. That's what he doesn't. He's not trying to teach.
Okay, but listen.
That's the difference.
But
he's
listen,
not trying to teach.
how
he's not
could
trying to
you
educate.
how could you distinguish Future from 50 Cent or what 50 Cent did?
What 50 Cent did?
Because
Yeah, 50 Cent was also
he's
from the inside
from
looking.
the inside
looking
speaking
out,
to
right?
50 Cent.
So is Future
that actually might be a good.
is Future the new gangster rap?
I mean, I'm
then?
trying to remember. I haven't listened to 50 Cent in years, but yeah, if I think of songs like
think about it.
no, but if I think of songs like Many Men, I remember that song by 50 Cent. Yeah, that gives me a similar vibe. Yeah,
But-
I have no problem with looking at it like that. I don't know if it's accurate, but I don't have a problem with that statement for sure.
So Future would be the next wave of gangster rap. You would say that.
It's
Or Future's and his offspring, like you have Migos, you have.
But you
Uzi
see,
and
here's
those-
why he's
those-
different. Here's
those
why he's
people.
different. This is why I also because specifically, I'm not talking about just the Atlanta style of rappers. I think people like Migos and Young Thug are very important for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more about their style of music, how to use their voice.
Yeah.
Future has that too, but what Future has in addition to that I don't think those other people have is actual depth and substance in his music. It's not said in the way that you think it should be said, and that's why people don't see it, because it's not communicated in the. It's like, I mean, you have the same thing. It's like when someone it's like when someone's on the news, for example, and they're being interviewed, maybe on like CNN or some sort of panel, and they're not academically versed, right?
Yeah.
Or I've seen this a lot of the college when I was going to school, when I was in college, when people don't use academic language, what they're saying is dismissed because they're not using the right words, but they're saying the same thing.
So-
and that's what my problem is with him. But that doesn't mean that people that understand that language don't understand them. Do you see what I'm
basically,
saying now?
what some people in hip hop are doing some kind of cultural exclusion. Like if you don't speak a certain language that is kind of highbrow, as it were, you are excluded from.
Because you see, what J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar do is that also their lyricism is complex. I've never said that his lyricism is complex. That's
Yeah,
not the
that's true.
conversation
Like-
I'm having here. Because it isn't.
But that already puts Kendrick on a different level.
Yeah.
Lyrically.
I'm saying. Yeah,
We're talking just
but that's
that's
what-
all we're talking about. But I'm not that's completely true.
Yeah,
But
but
that's not what
you
I'm
need. We
defending.
need to remember that we're in kind of a post-lyric era. Like lyrics are
Matter
important.
that
You
much.
need
That's why
lyrics
he's
and everything,
successful.
Don't
but you
matter
don't
that
need
much,
them to
yeah.
be the best rapper or biggest or important in hip hop.
And I'm not trying to save the guy is
You
massively
don't need it to be
successful.
the biggest, but you do need it to be the best, I think.
True.
If you're going for the title of the most skilled, yeah. If you go for the title of the most famous, like the biggest, the most popular, the most selling, nah.
Yeah. That's
Or
it,
else
like, biggest.
21 Savage wouldn't have. Yeah,
But listen, it's about
21 Savage wouldn't have done as good as he's doing right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
that was some massive shade.
Yeah,
unnecessary.
just saying. Just saying.
So that's nothing to do
Nah,
with
but I just
21
wanted to
Savage.
put that out there.
Just put it
I
in
don't
there for
know.
no
I'm
reason.
gonna slide in it.
We're
Dunk
not
is
talking.
back.
We're
We're
not
not
talking
talking
about
I'm
it.
just saying.
No, but
Dunk
listen,
is
here's what I'm
back.
trying to say. I never said he was lyrical.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm defending. What I'm defending is his capability of communicating certain ideas in. It's kind of like there's a TV show that did a similar thing. Okay, it's kind of like the movie Moonlight.
Yeah.
Moonlight,
You
yeah.
remember the movie Moonlight? You remember how they said that movie actually showed a side of the black community in America that you don't ever see? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. But it's still in their language.
Okay,
You see what I'm
wha-
saying? They didn't
what does,
water
Nick,
it. They
Nick,
didn't
Nick,
change it. They didn't
Nick,
place them somewhere else.
Nick,
There's
what do you
a
think?
great.
What do you think?
Hold on.
about it?
Oh,
okay.
There's a great analysis on the movie Moonlight where the director talks about it, and he says, "What we wanted to do is we wanted to bring art house to the hood, and not the hood to the art house." Do you see what I'm saying? So what he wanted to show is he wanted to show the artistic and side and the depth of these kind of people, as opposed to just taking their story and then trying to sell it as what people want to see it somewhere else. Do you see? And that's what he compared it to, like previous movies like Menace to Society or Boys in the Hood that did it differently, where it was just it was just still somewhat on the surface, and then that was interesting to people, but it wasn't real.
I'll let Duncan go first, and then with the question he had before, and then I'll get.
Yeah. So Nick, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's interesting you mentioned the art house now. Like, if you're looking at music-wise, like the art house of music would be more like Kendrick. That's what,
Exactly.
So you're bringing art house to the hood. And that's
No, so I love what you said that, because that's exactly what I'm saying. Kendrick Lamar is exactly that. He takes what he does to the art house. Future doesn't go to the art house because Future isn't seen as art.
He goes to the club.
Exactly. But then he communicates that. You see what I'm saying? Like, he communicates that to people there that also have a need. This is why I'm saying people like
You're saying Future communicates from the hood to the art house, in that sense.
he communicates art to the hood.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
'Cause
Like depth.
I see that Kendrick doing that.
Yeah, but
You know.
like
And that's
this is also what exactly what you guys are talking about was what I want to get into with you. But it seems like then Future is kind of creating his own art within the hip hop community and bringing it for the hip hop community. So he's staying within the four walls of the hip hop community, and Kendrick is like outside,
You see, and
grabbing
again,
some elements of art house. and
it's
going
nothing
back.
against
Yeah,
Kendrick.
exactly.
I just think what Kendrick is doing is completely different. It's not that he's not doing something
No,
right, but
we're
when
not
people,
bashing any of these
But
two
when
guys.
people like Meek Mill say, "I don't really listen to that guy's music," and I know so many people that say the same thing,
Yeah.
and I know exactly what kind of person that is,
Yeah.
but they do listen to Future. That is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the connection that I'm talking about. There's people who would like to get that message, but they can't get it from the way that Kendrick communicates it because they don't relate in that way. They relate in a very different way. But he can still bring to them, songs about struggle or loss or.
He doesn't really have a lot about those in-depth topics, though.
Okay, so we're gonna do it.
No,
right
I'm just
now.
being. No, wait. If you just look at its catalog,
I'm gonna read it to you right now. I'm gonna read. Stop talking.
There's
I'm
an
gonna read it to you.
abundance of music about his
Dunk is
him
back.
boasting,
Blood on the money.
him. Wait. His boasting, him
continue, and I'll read the
showing
lyrics.
off his
Blood on
money,
the money,
and all those type
DS2.
of things, right? And maybe
You don't
1 or
listen.
2%, maybe 1 or 2%.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Let the man talk.
Wait. Maybe 1 or 2% of his catalog is about these in-depth conversations or subjects.
It seems that way.
Okay.
It's
Let
not
me-
even.
okay.
It doesn't even seem like
okay.
that.
It
seems
A lot of
another
people
way to me.
online and what I've actually listened to say this.
Of
And-
course they say that.
and it actually shows in his music because
Of course they say that. And what I'm saying
I've listened
is-
to a lot of his
Yeah, but
music,
we-
and most of his music, Mask Off, all of his songs that he for example, on what was it again? This Future Hendrix album were mostly about him boasting.
That's not true.
There on Hendrix, there was a more emotional side. It was actually, you could actually see it hear it in the music as well. These songs with Rihanna, the last 6 songs actually, the songs with Rihanna, Sorry, those type of songs. Those were he was actually being vulnerable on those type of songs. But the songs before, on Future, for example, it was mostly about his money, about his basically boasting, showing off that he's, I don't have anything against it, but when you say certain things about, oh, he's conscious, he's doing
I
this,
didn't say he
he's
was
doing
conscious.
that.
didn't
I
say
don't
it was
agree.
Conscious. I didn't say it was conscious. I said that his music has substance that people don't give it. I don't think Drake is conscious, but his music has substance.
Are you saying Future communicates the same messages that Kendrick tries to communicate in a simpler
at
way?
times also, yeah, at times. But there's also songs where it's more about himself, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's superficial inherently. And there's a song like the one I'm going to just read to you is a good example of that. But if you want to talk about the album Future, first of all, I've never denied that he makes hits and that he's very good at making hits, and I want him to keep making hits because I think there's an art to that too, right? But I did not have that.
But there's no diversity though in his music.
How can you say there's no diversity when you just gave the best example of it?
But there's
You
not
have
a lot of
Future
diversity.
and you have
No.
Hendrix. So you're telling me the album Future and the album Hendrix sound the same?
But there's not a lot
Okay,
of
so then there's
diversity.
diversity.
But there's not a
Then
lot
there
of
is
diversity.
diversity.
Not really.
Those are two
Because
albums that sound completely different.
Wait. If you look at Future, right? Future is basically the same thing he's been doing for the last couple of years, right? Future, the album Future,
It's for his core fans,
right?
yes.
Okay. Then he changes his approach in the album
But he's
Hendrix,
done that
right?
before. The
No,
style
but
that he has
this
on Hendrix is
emotional
not new.
side, this emotional
No, but
side,
the style
right?
that he has on Hendrix is not new.
Wait, this emotional side, right? He tries to actually I think attract another fan base with Hendrix.
It
I don't
started
know,
it to a
maybe
different side of his
trying to
fan
be
base that are
emotional or
already
whatever
fans.
or whatnot. It's all cool, but first of all, it doesn't show that he's equipped actually to do this.
Equipped to do what?
To do what he's this emotional side, and he's trying
He's
to
been doing it for a long. See this and this.
no,
is
no,
what I'm
but
saying.
when he's
So this is what I'm
when
saying.
he's doing this, when he's doing this, it doesn't. His execution is not great.
this is the perfect
And
example of what I'm talking
this,
about.
This
This
shows
is
no, no.
perfect
This
example of
shows
what
this
I'm talking
shows
about.
because he has. I think he only has two songs previous with the Black China, the sex. I don't know what was it again. The Black China song.
I don't know.
There's this song with Black China where he's trying to be more vulnerable. I don't know.
He's done it.
Talking
He-
about
no, but no, this is wrong. No, see, this is a perfect example I'm talking about. So his fan base and his music base and his whole movement is so big that you're talking about like a fraction of it. You're talking there's an entire part you haven't seen. Because if you're gonna tell me that what he did on Hendrix is him trying this for the first time, that's completely wrong.
I'm not.
Completely wrong.
I never said he's
did
doing
that-
this for the first time. I never said he's doing it for the first
But
time.
you're saying
but
that
every
he's
single
been
time,
doing it for
every
a long
single
time.
time,
And he's
no,
been
no.
successful at it.
What?
Plenty of times he's done
What?
this.
The emotional side?
It's on all of his music. You see, this is what I'm saying.
Nah.
No, yes, it is.
Not
And this is what I'm
really.
saying. It's
Not
about
really.
the packaging. It's the packaging that confuses people. So let me
Because
no, it's
If you
because
have pain, there's this song I really like. No, because I'm not saying Future is a bad artist or I don't like his music, but I'm just saying the things you're trying to defend him for are not the right things. Because
They are.
because the
When you
emotional
listen-
side,
his first-
for example, there's one of my favorite songs with Pusha T, Pain.
That's
Like,
not the emotional
wait,
side. No,
wait,
no, I'm not gonna wait.
Wait.
He became
I like that
successful.
song, for example. I
It
really
was
like
around
that song.
2013. He became
I
successful
love
with
that
with
song.
the album
But-
Pluto. Did you listen to Pluto?
I listen to everything.
Did you listen to Pluto?
I listened to
What was
everything.
his first big hit? If you look at the song "Turn on the Lights," that was literally a love song. But what he does is he makes love songs, but he
What
makes
about his
them trap.
execution, though?
It's
That's
brilliant.
what I said. The package.
What about his execution?
What are you talking?
though?
What is okay? So define for me what execution is. What do you mean by execution? In this sense, because I'm talking about the execution of the song. The song "Turn on the Lights" was a huge hit. It was a phenomenal song. It's a song that introduced me to him, and it's not a ghetto I sell drugs song. That's not what made him. That's not what how he became. That's not how he got on SNL. That's not how he gets what he's getting. He makes songs. he has that
Mask
song-
off. Mask off is one of
He
those
does that,
reasons.
but this is
one of the
then
re-
how
those
is that not
reasons.
diversity? This is exactly what I'm saying. he
Nah,
can do both.
nah, listen,
exactly
listen,
like
listen.
Drake can also do an album with Future and can do a song like Jumpman and can do songs
And acceptance.
and can also do a singing song. So let me just explain to you. Let me give you a very good example of what I mean. So this is the song "Blood on the Money." So this is the best example because this is let me just read it.
Which first?
I'm gonna read the look. So the hook reads, "I got blood on the money and I still count it. They got blood on the money and I still count it. I can help the way I'm raised up. That Easter pink, I tried to give it up. I can't give it up." That's the hook. That's the hook. And then the first verse, I find very impressive. I really love this verse, so that's why I'm reading. So he starts, 28 grams, I serve it on the porch. I just seen them narcs, they ran off in my house. The homicide unit coming to the house. My cousin murked a nigga and he just got out. I hang out with all the killers and the robbers. I pour me up some drinks, they fuck my problems. My hood, they treat me like I'm El Chapo. I keep the dog food like I'm Rollo. That's the first part that I like the most. I'm going to just read because it's long, but that's the part. So this is what I'm saying. What I find very powerful about this is that he doesn't talk about it in past tense. I'm looking at the words. He doesn't talk about it in past tense, and
Present,
he doesn't
always
refer
present.
to and he doesn't
Yes.
refer to somebody else.
He's keeping himself in the
He says,
moment.
I do this.
Okay.
And when I listen to this verse, what I find so powerful about it is almost as if you ask someone how they were doing or how they've been. You haven't seen someone in a while, and they're just telling you.
So you see his music like having a conversation with somebody, asking him, "Hey, how you doing, my nigga? What is up with you, dude? How did you get your money last week?
lot of them.
How did you like? That's how he presents his music.
lot of
That's
the songs
that's
are.
how you see how you think he presents his music.
A lot of them are, and a lot of them have nothing to do with anybody else, in the sense that it's not him, and also as an artist, it's not him talking about other people or talking about, it's very centralized. It's very personal. He doesn't like same thing on Hendrix and the same thing on Future as well. It's about himself. He doesn't, and that's why I like Drake too, because he talks about things that people can relate to and connect to, but he places it in himself as he personifies it. Where I feel like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar do more of a social critique type of thing.
The distinction I would set between Future and Drake and J. Cole and Kendrick is Future and Drake answer the question, "How are you today? What was your day like? How did you get your money last week?" And Kendrick and J. Cole basically get the question, "What is your history?" and then they tell the answer to that question.
Sure, and look, both of them are good, but that's
No,
what I'm saying.
not
Like,
saying
what,
either
no,
of
so
them
you
is
listen
bad.
to this
They're
verse,
just answering. They're just handling the
but you
music
see, you
from
listen to
different
this. I want to
perspectives.
use this verse. So you listen to this verse. To you, it sounds like, oh, he's just rambling or it's ghetto talk or it's also. But there's people that really, there's people that really relate to this. This is what I'm saying. There's people that understand this at least, even if they haven't done it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's
No,
why
but I get
and-
that.
and-
I
and
get
if you
that.
said-
But then
and that
then
is
you
substance.
start talking about his emotional side, which he doesn't execute well, and then
What are you
then
talking
what
about? Execute. So define with me what you mean with execute.
Yeah,
Listen,
I'm not starting to get what
Okay.
you mean with that.
Listen,
Exactly.
If you look at, for example, Kendrick. Actually, Drake is actually a very good example. Drake, when it comes to his emotions and his boasting, is him trying to show off. There's a good balance, but when Future does it, he tries to stay street.
I think what you're getting at is that the beat choices, the whole production choices. Like when Future goes emotional, as it were, his music doesn't change that much.
Yep.
It's just that the lyrics change.
There's this lack of,
and
And that's in general with all
there's
his
this
music.
lack
Okay, yeah,
of
you
there's
finish,
this
sir.
lack and there's this lack of diversity. What I'm talking about.
Okay.
I love his beats because one of the reasons why people actually listen to his music and why I listen to his music, because the beats and the productions are always great.
He has a good team. Yeah.
He has a great team, but the content of his music, if you really listen to it, there are a few songs, I'm not hating on him, but there are a few songs that are great and where he has substance in the music, but it's not consistent.
Okay, so I'm very
And
happy.
the majority of his music has the content about,
I'm
yeah.
very happy that you said what you said because the reasons you guys just gave are completely correct, but they're exactly why I think his music is so great. It's because he does the emotional thing and it stays street. That's why it's so powerful.
Yeah, but it's
That's
too
the point of it.
disconnected in that way.
Yeah,
If
no,
you
it's-
want to try to evoke a certain emotion, you really have to first of all, it goes back to the music and the instrumentals, and
Yeah.
it has to sort of synchronize well with the lyrics and the message you're trying to get across. Then you have a great track that's meant to send the message across.
What he-
That's
what he's-
one
this
way
is
to do
too
it.
disconnected.
What he's trying to do is
Look,
good, but from a perspective of if you listen to music, the notes he used, the
Okay.
all of that makes sense. They
Okay.
dictate the emotion.
So let's take a good example of a song that I know Jeff in particular likes and thinks is a great song.
Oh, and
And
before-
correct me if I'm wrong, but you have the song.
before we even continue. For example, Meek Mill is a horrible example of what you could do. A street dude trying to be emotional. That's
Yeah.
the worst example.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Where is that even coming from?
Oh, because he tried to do emotional.
But we're
stuff.
not talking about his.
No,
his
but I'm
music.
just.
Well,
this
what
is
is
an
that- what is
example,
that
this an
song? What is
example,
that
this
song?
an
Okay.
example. But
So
continue.
okay, if
Yeah.
I'm correct, the song "Same Drugs" by Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
Right. That would be a good example of what you're talking about. The melodies that he used and the way he did it, right, matches what he was saying.
Yeah, he
Okay.
in my opinion, he made sure
Okay.
that the melodies, the notes, he even made sure the flow he uses.
Okay.
Uh,
I will never
corresponds with
listen
that.
to that song and understand it. It doesn't speak to me. That music doesn't speak to me.
I understand.
I don't
that.
listen to Taylor Swift like that. I don't listen to Adele like that. I don't listen to any of these artists like that. I understand it when Future does it. That's when I understand it. And that's why I think you guys aren't getting this packaging that you think is wrong is actually the best packaging for certain people.
Oh yeah,
Perhaps.
And
for
I
sure.
think you
Yeah,
underestimate
for
how
sure.
dedicated. Like I think
Nah,
people also
nah.
underestimate. See, I think people also underestimate how powerful and how dedicated a lot of his fans are. It's not. He doesn't have just these casual fans that listen to the hits. He really has fans that say exactly that. Future makes music that speaks to me, like
Yeah.
emotionally. I know people that, for example, have made the. And you're all gonna hate me, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I know the people that have made the comparison between him and Tupac for what he does. Whereas if you look at rap, most people would say that Kendrick Lamar is the new Tupac. That's what
I
people would
wouldn't
say.
even.
Not really,
It is,
no.
To me, it's
No,
way
but
too-
it's not about
to
that.
me,
It's
it's
not,
way
but
too
listen,
early
listen,
to-
let me tell you why.
to
But let me
plead
tell you
for
why.
new-
But let me tell you why they say it. But let me tell you what the reasoning is behind why they say that.
Okay.
They say that because what Tupac did best and what he was famous for, number one, was not his lyricism. That's a myth. That's what people think. It's actually very well known that there were various rappers in that time that were more lyrical than he was. It wasn't about the lyrics. It was about the way that he told stories about a certain community that were deep, but he did it in their language and with their sound.
Yeah.
But he had the packaging though that we're talking about.
Which packaging?
He packaged
Yeah,
his
the
music
packaging we're
properly.
talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
no,
What packaging?
His songs had like when he needed to get hard or when he wanted to get hard, like he wanted to show like the real shit. He went with real. He went with harder beats, and when he wanted to be a bit more emotional,
Mama.
he chose like he chose the beats that corresponded with that a little bit
That
more.
doesn't-
And there were
But
switches in his
But
music.
it could be that we are just not understanding the new wave of music yet. Like
That's
could be
also what I
ju-
think it is
yeah.
because when you tell me that the if you're gonna tell me that if pull up Use Me, if you're gonna tell me that Use Me has the same kind of sound as Mask Off, then there's some frequencies that I'm hearing that you're not hearing because it's completely different. It's
Because,
completely different.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying change a change in winning team, but stay in your lane if you're not capable of,
But he is
of
capable.
delivering the type of music, the emotional music or
But he
the
is.
vulnerability.
Okay.
He is. And
That
I'm tell-
a
no,
certain
but you see,
song-
I find it
hold on,
funny
hold
that you're
on.
criticizing something that he does very well and is literally probably the core of his success. It's because people like Meek Mill can sit there and say he makes music
emotional
for me.
side.
But hold
I
up,
mean,
hold up.
That's what.
So-
and, but
so
that's
guys,
what
these
they're talking
females
about.
Guys.
type of the sexual music type of ish, huh?
Who says he makes that?
Niggas.
Sex something. What was the song with Black China? What
That's
was
not
that
the one I'm
song?
talking
I'm
about.
talking about that
Hold up,
song.
hold up.
That's not the one I'm talking
Hold up.
about.
I want to switch
Yeah.
a little bit of gears right now. But if you say like, I think you are saying something real here. Like, Future caters to a different kind of audience.
That's what I've been trying to explain
But-
the whole time.
I didn't disagree with you that anyways, but I just wanted an explanation because the thought process is interesting and it's interesting to know, and the discussion you had with Duncan is really funny and funny and hilarious to listen to. But do you like if Future is catering to such a niche? Do you ever think he could be like a big
It's
big
not a
artist?
niche. It's not a niche. That's the joke. It's not a niche. It's just you don't see them. Because you
Yeah,
have
but
a perception of those guys. This is
they're
exactly
not
what I'm
they're
saying.
not the
No.
they're not the popular.
You have a-
They're not the main the
Of course
biggest.
they are. Of
They're
course
not the
they are.
biggest
No,
demographic.
it's a perception. It's a side of those people that you don't see. So they're there, but you assume they don't have that side.
So
And this is what I'm saying.
You are saying that instead of basically going for a certain kind of group of people, he's hitting a different side of people.
That's exactly of a certain group of people. That's exactly what I'm
That's
saying.
where we needed to go. Like,
That's exactly
so
what I've been trying to
what,
say.
What we're basically saying is that we have every person or most people or a great group of people of the mainstream culture have these sides to them. They, on one side, have the Drake, Kendrick kind of side where they listen to stuff that is much more obvious and much more to the point. And on the other side, they have the Future, who else could we put in that category? I think Migos kind of fits there a little bit.
Migos,
Young Thug,
the 21 Savage.
those people. You think that there's a distinct
No,
line
because I think that
between
what
people.
Migos and Young Thug do, and what I don't think anybody does what Future does.
Yeah, but
That's why
there are
he's
some
successful.
people trying to get close to him, and they have the same sound. I think
Like
Migos
the sound wise, but
yeah,
not
but I think
substance-wise.
Migos is trying to do like Migos is more about
Substance-wise.
bragging shit, but they still talk a little bit about shit they have done and do.
They have a little bit of it, yes.
Yeah, so like Future's one of the biggest artists in this modern time. Like he's trying. I
And
think
there's a reason, and that's what I'm saying. If you
he-
think
he's-
that's the
he's-
case,
he's having-
just because of hits, you're very confused.
Yeah, but he is
That's what I'm
having.
trying to explain.
I think he is having almost the kind, maybe not to the level of a Kanye, but he is having Drake kind of levels of ripple effects. Like a lot of people are inspired by
They're
what.
the same. They're the same.
Ooh,
They're two sides of the same coin. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ooh.
That is interesting. Drake.
In terms
Future.
of their impact, it's the same. It's just Drake's impact is mainstream.
Mm.
And that's why I find it so powerful what he does. And you keep telling me like, well, he doesn't package it, he doesn't try and read, but that's exactly why it's good.
Yeah,
It's
but-
because it leaves certain people out. That's the
Yeah,
point
but
of it.
then I phrased it and understood it wrong. He's not doing the wrong packaging. He's doing the right packaging for the right kind of people.
Which people that you don't may not understand or
I
relate
don't
to.
I don't really relate to those to that
But
too
that's
much.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's what you said about Beyonce. Beyonce is super successful. Beyonce has hits, but you don't get it because
Yeah.
it's made for. And I don't get it either. But that's the same thing with Future.
That's made for a gender, though. More, yeah.
This is made for a certain side of certain people. Like I can get it. It's not. It's not as narrow as you think. I'm not from the ghetto. I haven't sold drugs, but I still like. And that's we should switch actually to the go to the song "Trap Niggas" because that's the very best. I'm gonna explain to you. That's the song. No, that's the song I want to use. That song. If we're gonna, this podcast will not end until I've explained that song, because that song.
But then the next thought that comes up in my mind when I hear that Future and Drake are like the same. They're two people just back to back having the same kind of effects on the whole culture.
pun intended.
Then I'm kind of wondering like what the next group of artists. What do they take from Future? What do they take from Drake?
I don't see anybody doing what Drake does, what Future does. Also Drake, but I don't see anyone doing.
Yeah,
what
but
Future
we
does
saw
because stylistically they do it. But I will never. I love Young Thug, huge fan, but I'll never sit here and tell you that his music.
Yeah,
has
but we
substance.
we saw what kind of impact a dude like Kanye had on the whole game. I think Future and Drake and Kendrick, the three of them, are on the cusp of reaching that kind of level of stuff. But from Kendrick, I can see what he's bringing to people. He's bringing more conscious kind of rap to people. He's bringing
Look,
more
so is it-
storytelling
but you
back.
see, it's
Drake,
kind of
I
like-
see. Drake, I also see. He's bringing more emotional. Like we talked in the first episode we did, like the masculinity, trying to change the perception of how a man should be. Now I'm wondering what is Future's legacy.
Think
in the
about it
hip
like
game?
this. The one thing I want to, and I'll get to that, but one
That's
thing
a very good question.
One thing I want to accentuate is that he's more impactful than people think. Take, for example, but he's not as mainstream. And there's a lot of artists that are like this. So
Yeah.
take, for example, Adele, who disappeared for like years.
Yeah.
And then she came back and released an album, wouldn't refuse to do digital,
Yeah.
a single here and there, huge hits just by
Mm-hmm.
just by releasing them. And then she put out the album, and how didn't she have like the highest sales
Yeah.
in like almost
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
ever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so take what Future did, right? 2 albums in about a week. You have Future, you have Hendrix,
Shit. Yeah.
right? Barely the music videos for the first album have just started to come out. The music videos weren't out.
Mask Up just dropped,
Singles
like, 2
weren't
days
out.
ago or
The
something.
songs, there were no singles, nothing.
Yeah.
He just dropped the thing. #1 album in the country, #2 album in the country at the same time. How can you do that if nobody's listening?
Do
you see what I'm saying?
People are
see
listening.
the numbers, though,
Yeah,
right?
like,
you do see the numbers,
people
though, right?
like I don't
Because
want.
you're
Number
comparing-
one
you're comparing-
album.
Like,
wait,
I wanna
wait,
make clear.
wait.
Number two
No, no,
album.
no, no,
I wanna
no.
make clear.
You shouldn't have gone there, though. You shouldn't have gone there because
No, wait.
if-
I want to
if you
make
look
clear.
at- yeah.
We're not
Okay,
discrediting.
go ahead.
We're not saying nobody listens to Future. We're just trying to figure out who listens to Future and what does he bring in. What is his role in this whole hip hop machine?
Because because what Jeff did, he put Kendrick, Drake, and Future in the same breath. Okay,
Yeah,
Sure.
they fit.
Future,
They're in the same breath.
Wait, Future, right? If you look at his numbers, because you just mentioned his numbers, I didn't want to start with his numbers.
didn't mention
His
his
numbers, no,
That's
but
his #1 album, #2
his
album.
number,
Those are facts.
those are numbers. Those are
fact-
numbers.
they're
Those are
also
numbers.
factual.
But he
also
did no,
true.
he did have the #1 spot and the #2 spot with the 2 albums he just dropped. He dropped, right? But it was substantially less than what Drake did, what Kendrick did, because
Doesn't
Kendrick
surprise me.
Kendrick already went platinum.
Doesn't surprise me.
Kendrick
Yeah,
went
but
platinum.
he-
Doesn't
Drake
surprise me at all.
He's
Over
also-
600
Doesn't
units
surprise me at
in
all.
the first week.
And that's completely correct. And I completely understand. That
So,
doesn't surprise me.
so
I would have never
if we
said.
talked about if we're talking about numbers,
Yeah, but the
Future
like
is,
numbers
should not even
in this
should not
this
be
day and
But it
age.
doesn't surprise
In
me.
this day and age,
But that's
numbers
what I wanna
don't
say.
matter
See,
that
the
much.
problem is that he doesn't understand.
I mean, it never has really mattered
Yeah.
that much.
That's,
No,
and
no,
that's,
no,
but
no.
see, that's what I say. He doesn't understand what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that for him to be able to do that, not being the kind of dude that shows up on Jimmy Fallon or Ellen for an interview, not being the kind of person who puts out singles or beforehand or things that go viral. It just dropped 2 albums.
Yeah.
One of them literally like a ghetto trap mixtape.
Yes.
And the other one was a more complex album. For that, then in that way to go where it went, not having the kind of promotion, there's very few people in that circle that can do that. Dudes who show up on Ellen, if you want to talk about numbers, you can't compare them to dudes who don't show up on Ellen. That doesn't make sense to me.
No
There's-
the numbers
if
don't
you wanna
matter
talk-
in this. Right now, this
There is
levels.
no other artist that makes his sound of music that would have been able to do that. Maybe Meek Mill.
Do you know what other
Maybe the
albums
other
dropped
one.
around that
Meek
time?
Mill fucked his chance.
Meek
Fuck
Mill was
up.
the only other one. And that's the same thing. Meek Mill was impactful too. He did the what's the name of the album? Because I don't even the last one where he got the
We don't even know.
4 Dream
Like,
Chasers
I-
4.
no,
Was
no,
it?
the album where he got beef.
Oh,
That one's so
yeah,
like-
Rico.
Rico.
That one, Rico.
That's,
That's
I only know.
Rico.
Because this is shameful.
Conclusion is we don't give a
Look it
shit
up, this
about
is
me.
shameful.
This right.
Look
No.
it up. This, dreams worth more than money
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
I want to say.
Yeah, but
Could
Meek
be
Mill
something
fucked up.
like that.
We should not talk about Meek Mill.
No, but
like,
listen,
right now, but-
like look at Meek Mill. Look at where he markets his stuff. Look at how he presents it, and yet still look at the numbers. You see what I'm saying? Like it touches a certain niche group of people, but of course it's not gonna do as much as Drake because he doesn't show up on Ellen. He's not an Ellen person. He's not showing up on Jimmy Fallon.
Doesn't
on the
market
couch.
himself right.
You see what I'm saying? It's not in that place. But that's exactly why it's so great. It's because it's not in that place.
Yeah,
That's what-
unfortunately, we do live in a world where that's
I
too
think
important,
it was
too much of an
Dreams
impact.
worth more than money.
Yeah, dreams worth more than money. That still sold like I think in the first week it was like over 250,000. It was also the number one album in the country.
It's so shameful that we don't.
Do you understand what I mean?
Know the name
no, but let me.
anymore.
Okay, so let's
Seems
go.
like we don't care about.
Let's go to because we're the time is going. Okay, trap niggas. So what I was trying to say
Yeah.
last time about trap niggas, we were talking about religion and hip hop,
Yeah.
and you were talking about Kendrick Lamar. So this is why you're talking about the song All Right. So this one is why, and it had the religious elements in it.
Yeah, for me, the Kendrick Lamar thing was all about Kendrick Lamar trying to atone for his sins in that kind of way, and you wanted to link.
So
it back to
basically,
Future.
here's how I see trap niggas, and it's the long thing, but I'm gonna try to make it short.
Yeah.
So in Dobby, I'm gonna read it, but in general, the song "Trap Niggas" first of all has a religious theme to it that runs throughout the entire song. The general idea of the song is that people that are struggling are going to be should keep hope and have motivation because God one day is going to make things better. Now, if you also look at the title of the song, Trap Niggas, the thematic, the theme of the song is also a reference to slavery. Because the idea of slavery would be that the trap that a lot of, black people, especially in the United States, live in now is the new plantation. It's the new idea of that. So now if we look at slavery, what kind of music genres came out of that? Gospel is one of them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you had these songs about suffering and struggle, but then they would intertwine that with religious songs about hope and being freed. So there's actually a lot of interesting things that you can find about how they use this as a way to communicate also, because religion was one of the very few things the slaves were allowed to do on the plantation. So they would sing these songs about salvation and freedom, but in a spiritual sense. But they would know that they're also talking about physically going away from the plantation, which is what the master didn't understand. That's what I want to add to this, and this is why the hook goes: when you wake up before you brush your teeth, you grab a strap, nigga. Only time you get down on your knees, shooting craps, nigga. Fuck what you heard. God blessing all the trap niggas. God blessing all the trap niggas. Very simple.
Yeah.
Very, very
Straight.
simple.
Okay.
Very
But
straight to
All
the
the
point.
points you just touched upon are incorporated in this song.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So
ahead.
the first element of it.
Shit, Oliver.
Yeah.
Oliver
And
is schooling us right now.
let me tell you
But
why.
it's good.
Let me tell you how powerful.
Let's go deep.
But this
Let's go
song
deep.
is so overlooked. Let me explain to you.
Yeah.
The first thing the first religious element is here. Only time you get down on your knees, shooting craps, nigga. Craps is a game that is
Yes,
commonly
we
played
know
in the-
what craps is.
Okay.
Maybe explain for people.
Which is for me, it's
who
a
hasn't
form
actually-
of
We've all
ga-
played it.
Yeah, it's a form of gambling.
I actually
played
used
it,
to.
though.
At
Yeah,
some-
it's a form of gambling. Yeah, it's a form of gambling
Yeah.
which people commonly play in the ghetto.
With that.
Okay. Only time you get down on your knees. When else do people get down on your knees if you look in a religious sense? When they pray.
Yeah.
So what he's first of all saying is that you don't get down on your knees to pray, right? You get down on your knees to gamble because you live in this type of environment. When you wake up before you brush your teeth, you grab a gun, right? Violence. But despite all of that, God is still going to bless you. It's this idea about a group of people that are forgotten and that are perhaps inherently immoral because of the way they live. But what he's pointing out also with the title of the song is that they're trapped in that situation. That's why it's called Trap Niggas, right? And what he's trying to refer to is that despite the fact that they're in that situation and have to do certain things, right, to survive, God is still going to bless them and still be with them. And the theme of that, to me, is similar to what I was saying about slavery because of the fact that it's called Trap Niggas. And because of the fact that the idea of the modern plantation being the trap is not some weird thing that I just came up with, but that's a thing that a lot of people have said. I'm pretty sure there's articles and books about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, but then making a song for people in that environment for them to have hope is exactly what these gospel songs from the plantation did back then. He's making a modern version of that.
And that's what Future is doing.
And
Okay.
his whole
Okay.
thing
So-
is this. This is the best example of what
So
I'm talking
you
Yeah,
think
but
his
this
whole
part-
home
but-
music is just
Comes
trying to
down,
get
Okay,
Right.
trying to
that.
get to
Oliver,
that?
right?
Okay.
Oliver. So that part, the hook, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just read. All of that was in there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the rest?
No,
He
no, like,
elaborates.
but Future keeps it very simple, right? You need to
But that's the
remember,
point.
he's straight.
But
Like
he doesn't understand.
he's
See,
straight
yeah,
to the
but-
point.
the word that you just used is exactly what is causing
But I'm
confusion.
just asking. I'm just
Elaborates.
asking. I'm
You
just
want
asking.
elaboration,
I'm just,
and that's exactly what is not necessary.
no, but I'm just asking because I'm reading, and I'm following all the words, and I'm thinking about the things you just mentioned, and I'm trying to see a connection. I see there are a few things, elements that actually correspond with what you just said, but I don't see the whole thing. There is maybe a deeper meaning in the words he mentions, but yeah.
My bad.
So the
Dude,
fan
we
mail
have to
coming in.
edit, if we have to edit that
But
out. Yeah.
well, let's get into this in a future podcast. Like this is some good shit. We're not done talking.
Future
about
podcast.
future podcast.
Wow, he's punning.
Okay, so
I don't
yeah,
like puns, but I did it.
we'll definitely discuss that.
Yeah.
And
Woke up. I don't
because
think
because the lyrics and the things you just mentioned, I don't know. Did he actually say this, or
But that's
or
the
did
problem.
people
But that's the problem.
read too much into
that's
the?
the-
We were-
that's the
we're
problem.
out of
I don't
time.
know.
And this no,
Okay.
wait. Let me just finish. This,
But
that,
this
that's
will
the problem.
be. This will continue.
The
to-
li-
we'll
no,
finish
but I
up
just
with
wanna-
Oliver.
I'm not
Okay?
gonna do
Cool.
another jab, but I just want to iterate again. The reason I feel so strongly with this is exactly everything you just said. Is because you want him to elaborate or do some sort of interview somewhere where he doesn't do that, and they don't want that. I don't want him to do that. I don't want to hear that. I want him to just make the music like this and leave it like that and give it to
So
me.
in conclusion, you're saying
That's
they're
what-
sort of at the same level, Kendrick and Future, with what they're doing, but Future is more raw, catered to a certain audience, and Kendrick is more of an artistic
Boom.
genius.
This is why we have
There we
Nick.
go.
He summarizes it.
To be continued.
Alright.
That's all I'm saying.
so.
To be continued for sure.
This was the Three Angry Men. The future is. Now, do you want to? Do you?
Complexity of future.
The complexity of future.
That's what it's titled.
not really.
Okay.
No, not really
So,
complex.
thank you all for listening. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and all other social media. And Nick, follow Nick and RFM on RFM on all social media, Facebook, Twitter,
And join the
Instagram.
discussion in the comments.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
Let us know what you
for
think.
sure. Like tweet at us. Let us know what you guys think. I know a lot of people are angry at Oliver. We're trying. I want to get some
Gang,
list
gang, gang.
of people hitting up Oliver, trying to get him. I want questions. Questions. People should bring in questions.
Throw your voice.
All their questions. We'll answer
your
all their
fists.
questions.
And
you could be a guest.
we
do
will
whatever you
we will
want.
soon invite some people to just spar with Oliver right here because
love it.
he is. I have gotten some messages that people are angry at
I'm
him.
very ready.
I want to see them fight. Okay, thank you all for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. Follow us on social media at 3_angry men on Instagram and Twitter. On Facebook, follow us at 3 Angry Men Podcast. And on iTunes, please rate and subscribe and leave a review. Let us know what you thought.
And follow AirFM on Facebook and Twitter at official AirFM and on Instagram at air.fm.